You're still watching Newsday. Let's return to our top story. Donald Trump has said he will appeal a New York jury that found he sexually abused a writer in a department store in the 1990s and then defamed her by calling her a liar. He's been ordered to pay $5 million. Well, for more on this, let's bring Arise U.S. correspondent Eric Ham, who joins us live from Washington. Eric, good to have you with us. Busy week, no doubt. Now, tell us more about what this civil case against the former president was all about.
Well, this was a civil case that was brought by E. Jean Carroll against Donald Trump for what she calls not only defamation, but defamation stemming from a sexual assault that took place more than 30 years ago in an upscale department store in New York City. Now, E. Jean Carroll says the only reason she brought the suit against Donald Trump is because he defamed her, saying that it did not happen, saying that she was not his type, and went on to say derogatory and demeaning things about her. She said as a result of the comments made by Donald Trump against her, she lost her position as a columnist with a major news publication here in the United States. And that is why she brought the case against Donald Trump. Fast forward, of course, now Donald Trump has been filed liable for defamation and for sexual assault to the tune of nearly $5 million.
All right, so he said he's going to appeal, Eric, but what other reaction has there been to the jury's decision?
Well, of course, Donald Trump himself is saying that this was all a witch hunt, that this was political, and that this is an attempt by the deep state to somehow undermine his candidacy for president. However, we cannot ignore the fact that this was a jury that was made up of 6 men and 3 women. In addition to that, one largely overlooked item or fact about the jury is that one of the individuals on the jury made clear to both sets of lawyers that he got most of his news from far-right MAGA news outlets. So this was someone who was ideologically predisposed to Donald Trump. Nevertheless, they all unanimously came back with a verdict after just 4 hours of deliberation that Donald Trump was liable for this assault and for defamation. Now, Donald Trump has said that he will appeal the case, and we have heard from his lawyer, Joe Tacopina, that he believes that they have a very good case for appeal. But of course, it remains to be seen. As we know, the case went through a number of legal wranglings before it actually went to trial. And it's also important to note that this is only one case that E. Jean Carroll has brought against Donald Trump. There is another case at the federal level that is still going through the process. And with this libel verdict, many believe that that case has an even better chance of being victorious as well.
Indeed, Eric, and of course, they're still calling this a witch hunt. So how do you think this will impact Donald Trump's bid to run for president in 2024?
Well, that's the big question that everyone is wondering. What impact, if any, this is going to have on Donald Trump now that he is, of course, a candidate for the Republican nomination for president of the United States. We will actually get a better sense of what that all means because today Donald Trump will be hosting a town hall with CNN speaking directly to primary voters in one of the early voting states that in next year. So this was an attempt by Donald Trump to actually try to rehab his image. This was the first time that he had been appearing on CNN since he ran for president back in 2016. Of course, we know Donald Trump used the moniker fake news to go after CNN, but this is seen as an effort by Donald Trump to rehab his image, as well as try to court many of those moderate and independent voters, swing voters. But of course, this latest verdict certainly means that now Donald Trump's efforts of trying to showcase himself as a normalized candidate will certainly hit a wall now that he has been labeled a sexual predator.
Very good, Eric Ham. Just before I let you go, what are the polls saying about his chances, especially within the Republican parties? You have Ron DeSantis, and of course, more people, candidates are pitching in.
Yeah, that's right. In fact, the polling data right now, at least on the Republican side, shows that Donald Trump is head and shoulders above all other candidates in the Republican field right now. In fact, Donald Trump is leading his most closest competitor, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, by more than 20 points. And so right now, Donald Trump has enormous momentum heading into those early voting states that will begin casting their ballots beginning in January. And that is why many are seeing Donald Trump not only as the front runner, but also as the person who will ultimately end up being the Republican nominee for president.
All right. Thank you so much, Eric, for joining us and, of course, for your analysis on this particular matter.